My biggest thing since I've come to Jesus is getting over smoking, getting over my drinking, and also getting over homosexuality is a big thing for me. And those are things that I've all given my life into. I've put my identity in my entire life. Literally since I was young. I started smoking in 6th grade. Drinking, I started when I was like 13, 14 years old, because I feel like I lived in a household where my parents were very like amazing parents, but you know, like they had alcohol around, you know, they wouldn't let me touch it in front of them, right? But behind their backs, I felt like I was living a different life.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Life Stories Podcast. My name is David, your host, and it is officially, at the time of you watching this, 2026.
Hey.
Can you believe we got here?
Dude.
But as of like this moment, like right now,
we're still in 2020.
So we're talking to the future.
Yeah.
Technically.
This is like some Matrix stuff.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
crazy. Hey. But we are back. I'm back. I haven't done an episode in, gosh, months. And I'm so excited to be back in the groove of things and see where 2026 leads us. 2025 was a great year, both spiritually and in my work and in our church. And I'm just so excited for 2026. And it only gets better, right? It can only get better.
100%.
Well, awesome. So thanks for keeping up with me on the ride. And everybody, we got the Spotify Wrapped. We got so many listeners in the Philippines. So shout out to the Philippines.
Hey, shout out Philippines.
Yeah, to
Y'all
UK.
amazing.
The UK's in there. Peru.
Hey, the UK.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to visit.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a episode in
Maybe
Peru.
we'll do an episode in Peru.
But anyways, I'm just so excited. So thanks again for, I'm going to repeat myself, jumping on the ride with me.
Yes.
So, but I have a fantastic guest to kick off this new year. My great friend. Introduce yourself.
I'm Amerie, and we know each other through church, but we are besties.
We're besties. We've been friends for like a month.
Not even. Oh my gosh, dude! I feel like everybody I meet, I'm like, dude, I feel like I've known you. People have told me, they're like, dude, I feel like I've known you forever.
But there's just like a certain type of person that when you meet, it's like, bing. I know everything about you, even though I don't know nothing about you.
Right? That's what everybody says. And they're like, so like, what even is your story? Like, I feel like every time we talk, like this and that, and I'm just like, dude, you want to hear my story? Tune into David's podcast.
Tune into the podcast. Welcome. This is it. This is the podcast. And I'm so excited. And the funny story is I've never heard your story. Like, I'm learning more and more about you just in the 10 minutes that we were talking.
100%.
And she started to go into her story, and I was like, wait, stop.
Yeah.
I want it to be fresh. I don't want
Cuts
to hear
me
it.
off and was like, wait, no, I want it to be pure, and I want it to be for the first time. I want it to be real.
Right.
And I was like, that's how you know he's real.
Yeah. I need the expressions like,
Yeah.
just kidding. But I'm so excited. So just tell us a little bit about you before we get into your story. Like, you know, where you from? What did you do for work or whatever? Just anything.
So I feel like the main thing to know about me is anywhere I go, I love to just meet people. I love to talk. I feel like that's why I even told Matthew and Clark this. I said, don't give me a microphone because I will not shut up. Like, that's the thing. And I feel like that's the best thing about coming to church is I feel so at home with my people. Even though some people are like introverts and stuff like that, like you have no choice but to.
Oh man, yeah. Especially at CBC.
100%, 110%. And so I feel like that's kind of like everywhere I've been, even in my family. Like I'm the oldest of 4, and then I have an older stepsister above me, but I've always kind of been considered the oldest. I have 2 parents. I love my parents. I'm from San Antonio. Always lived here in San Antonio. I love the beach. I love long walks on the beach.
Oh, so romantic.
I love to. No, imagine.
At Galveston Island.
Yeah, all right. Galveston Island. No, South Padres where it's at.
Yeah, that's
Not anymore.
that's our Florida.
Yeah, that's our Florida, legit. Anyways, but yeah, there's really not too. I feel like I'm an open book. Like if you want to know something about me, even if we just met, like ask, because I'm not gonna withhold anything.
Yeah.
Like I'm almost too truthful to a fault.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
Wow. Hey, that's actually a good quality though,
You know?
because you know that we're gonna get authentic, not this
Mm,
fake stuff that's been flying around
mm,
in lately with this influencer culture
yeah.
that is out right now on TikTok and YouTube and all the things that I'm on.
Like you're trying to pretend for somebody or something.
Right, for
And it's like,
likes.
why are you doing that? Like,
Yeah,
just be you,
yeah,
you know?
absolutely. And that's one thing, the things I attracted me to you is I
Mhm.
think it was when I really jumped on board at Common Ground
Mm,
where you and I met.
CG.
Yeah. And it was like instant. And I think it
Mm-hmm.
was like the second time you walking in, you just came up to me, gave me a big hug. I was like, friend.
Yeah, yeah. I love how you always say that. Every time David sees me, he's like, "What's up, friend?" I'm like, "Oh, that's so sweet.
I
That's
love
so
it. I'm
sweet.
so grateful to know
I
you.
love it. Yeah, dude. I'm grateful to know you,
I'm grateful
David.
to know you.
Everybody knows you, and I was like, "Who is this David guy? Who is this silver fox?" Like, David had me guess his age one time, and I was like saying like 30, and he was like, "Do you see all of this gray hair?"
Wow. She called me this episode is over.
Yeah. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. We've learned enough.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
just kidding.
That's the end of the life.
That's yeah.
That's so funny.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad people talk good about me. I hope people
Oh,
talk
people
good about
talk
me.
amazing about you, bro. I hope people talk good about me, dude.
Yeah, I mean, people want you around.
I would hope. I would hope everybody's like, oh yeah, cool. Like, just get away from her, bro.
Nah,
Nah,
nah.
not at all.
But cool. Again, thanks for coming on, and it was kind of a quick notice. And I've got some
Yeah.
others that I've got lined up that I've been trying to get on for a while, and I'm so excited to have them on. But talking to you, I was like, I need you on the podcast.
Aw, dude, I love that.
And so I'm so thankful for you to open up
Mm,
like a book, and even us just meeting too, like,
yeah.
and really not like I mean, realistically, we've known each other for just probably a few months.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for you to trust me and to
Oh,
open
100%,
up
bro.
and share your story with this platform, and
Mm,
so I'm excited to hear it. And so,
mm.
like with all the other guests, just you get the floor. I don't interrupt much. And just share as much as you want to share, as little as you want to share, as more the better, obviously. But yeah, just tell us, how your walk with Jesus started, or whatever your testimony is. This is your story.
Yeah. So I feel like my testimony in a whole is just still building. I feel like even just in the past 2 months, it's added such a big chapter into my testimony where people would be like, well, my testimony is this and my testimony is this. Like, my testimony is getting over drugs or like getting over like my alcoholism. I'm like, dude, like, it's so funny when you come to church and you meet these people, you think that they're like perfect people.
Oh yeah.
Like people, I think that's something that I've had to get over, the stigma of these church people where I'm like, oh my gosh, you know scripture like the back of your hand and you're the best, kindest person that I know. So you've obviously never done anything wrong in your life. And it's like, these are the people who used to probably we've been at the same party at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's
True.
like 100%. And so I feel like my life is one of those things where I feel like I've lived a lot of life even though I'm so young. It's like ridiculous. Like, I was just talking to Sarah V about that. Like
Yeah.
she's just like, dude, like I thought you were so much older. And I'm like, dude, no. Like I'm 21 years old. Like that's not people hear that and they think little baby,
Are you talking about singer Sarah,
Singer Sarah.
who is, by the way, gonna be on the show?
Dude, I love Sarah.
Yeah.
She's also one of those people where I've gotten close to in such a little amount of time,
Yeah,
and like
she's
where I
a
feel like we
she's a
can.
goat.
100%. Yeah, and so I feel like I have lived a lot of life, and in that time, I've done some ridiculous things, like some heathenistic things, and so I think where I'll start is by saying my biggest thing since I've come to Jesus is getting over smoking, getting over my drinking, and also getting over homosexuality is a big thing for me. And those are things that I've all given my life into. I've put my identity in my entire life. Literally since I was young. So like I started smoking in 6th grade. So I mean, dude, how old are you in 6th grade? You're like 12. And I'm on the young end of the spectrum. So I'm like 12. And then drinking, I started when I was like 13, 14 years old, because I feel like I lived in a household where my parents were very like amazing parents,
Yeah.
but like they had alcohol around, like it's not like they wouldn't let me touch it in
Yeah.
front of them, right? but behind their backs, I felt like I was living a different life. Like, if I was, since the minute that I even had friends and even my cousins, like, I've always been around people who are 4 or 5 years older than me. And so that's something that's normal to me. So when I'm like 12, I'm hanging out with people who are like 16, 17, whether that be with my cousins or with friends or anything like that. Like, that's my life, you know? And so I felt like I was living a different, like, almost like a two-sided life,
Yeah.
you know, like where I was like, even though my parents knew I wasn't the best at school, or they knew I would be out and like they would get mad at me, you know, but I felt like they didn't know the extent of what I was doing. And like, I think it's like a ongoing joke, like where I'll making fun of them. I'll be like, yep, I was an alcoholic by this time. And they'll be like, okay, because they don't believe it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but that's good, because, you know, like, you wouldn't believe that your daughter would do something like that. But at the same time, I think that's why I hold where I'm at right now in such a high regard, because I'm like, wow, like, I'm struggling with so many things and nobody even knew. Nobody even knew. Not my friends, not my family, not my best friends in the entire world. And so I feel like I'll just start with high school. Like, in high school, by the time I was a freshman in high school, everybody knew me as, I would put my identity in me liking women. So everybody knew me as like the fun lesbian, right? Like, you know, it's a stigma, and I loved it for a long time. I loved
Yeah.
it because I've always been a fun person, but you start to put your identity in your fun being in your sexuality.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's like something that I know now. And they would know me as the party girl. Like, if you want to party, go to Amerie. She knows where the party's at. You know what I'm saying? Because I would always hang out. Like, I'm a freshman hanging out with seniors, you know? And my cousin at the time, I had moved schools my 8th grade year. And my cousin, who's a very close family friend, but he's been my cousin, like, he's like my cousin. He's like family. And he was like going down the wrong path. But to me at the time was like, oh, that's the fun path, you
Yeah.
know? And so I would hang out with him and his friends, and we would go out and, you know, go to parties and do all these things and smoke and be skipping school and, you know, going out for lunch. And like, that was my idea of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was, everybody knew that. Everybody knew that, because how I talk to everybody now is how I talk to everybody all the time. And it's so funny, I've known Vanessa since high school. Jacob's girlfriend.
Gotcha.
So I've known her for about 7 years now.
Wow.
And so when I had came to CBC, she was like, wow, like, she was excited that I'm here. And so now talking to her about a lot of things, I'm like, see, I like talking to people who knew me before, because you know how to attack it
Yeah.
with me almost, you know,
Yeah.
like, beside me going to God and having that personal conversation, like, you know how hard this struggle is for me, because you've seen me in this time. And so she will attest to this, like, how I talk to everybody now is how I've always been, but just in a different light, you know? And so my freshman year, I went off the rails, literally was just like going through it. Um and that summer going into freshman year was like a really crazy time, I guess, because I was transitioning from my 8th grade, being a new school, going into high school. And my parents were like, Amerie, you're wilding out. We're gonna send you to California to stay with my dad's brother and his wife and their kids. Kid at the time. And they were, in my eyes at the time, kooky Christians. Kooky Christians it's a term that I would consider everybody to be at the time, right?
There are cookie Christians.
Oh, there's
out
kooky
there.
Christians. No. There's kooky Christians. And so I had went, and they were like, on top of being Christian, they were like health nuts.
Mm.
So I couldn't like eat what I wanted to eat, and I felt like they were controlling everything. I had to volunteer with the Boys and Girls Club without getting paid, and like all this stuff. I just had finding stuff to complain about. But they had sent me to a Christian retreat. So how we do like fall retreat and we do summer camp and all that, they had did that, but since they're in California, they do it on the beach.
Fun.
So it was so fun.
We did that once.
Yeah.
We had beach camp.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was fun.
Oh,
It
no.
was a little wild.
Yeah,
Like,
I was about to
how do you
say.
keep track of
Dude.
hundreds of high schoolers
Dude.
at South Padre Island?
Oh, yeah. See, like, that's the thing. So we're on base. Luckily, we were on base at the time. in San Diego, and I was trying to find the worst crowd and the best crowd. You know what I'm saying? So I was trying to find the people who were going to church camp but they were smoking, or like going to
Gotcha.
church camp
Yeah.
and they were doing this, and like, and if of course it was the older people.
Hmm.
So again, falling back into my habit of being with the older people, older crowd, I guess you could say, quote unquote, whatever that even means. Because it's only like a couple years difference. It's not that big of a difference, but to me, being younger, it makes a big difference. And so when I had met those people, like obviously we would sneak out of like our tents at night and like go and like all mess around and be on the beach, and it was fun. But the last night that I was there, we were in a tent, and it was on, I think it was, if not the second to last night, it was the last night, because it was like a 5-6 day trip, and we were doing worship in the big worship tent. And I remember this being like the first time I felt the Holy Spirit. And I remember being in the thing and they were playing Reckless Love.
Mm.
And it was so like, it was so good. And I remember it was like almost in an instant where I had tuned in to like what they were saying. Like, all the overwhelming, like all that stuff. And I just remember like tuning in, and like I remember looking down at the ground and then looking up as I tuned in. And I just remember seeing this bright light, like this bright white light. And I remember feeling this like weight lift off of my chest. And so I remember thinking, wow, like that feeling I've never gotten from being high, never gotten from being drunk, I've never got from indulging with women, I've never gotten that from anything else. I've only gotten that feeling there. And I didn't know what it was, because I didn't know what the Holy Spirit was, even though I'm semi learning about it. And like, I never grew up in church. Like, the only time I would read the Bible was like as punishment. My parents were making you like write down the Bible verses or whatever. And my parents
Honor
were,
thy mother and
yeah,
thy father.
exactly. And it's KJV. So I'm like, who's thy, like, who is thy? Like,
Thou is.
yeah, thouist. Yeah. Like, like who, And so after leaving that, camp, I can't come back for freshman year. Worst year of my life. Like, literally worst year of my life. I got into suicide ideation. Like, I just hated my life. Like, for whatever reason. I didn't really have, like, my parents were good. Like, my family was semi good, like I had, friends. I had a life to go back to at home. Like, I was hanging out with people outside of school. Like, I was fine, but I just really hated life at the time. And I remember going to my closet, because we had moved into a new house. I had the second biggest closet besides my parents. So it was a walk-in closet. And I remember being in there and being like, this is the day I'm going to kill myself. Like, I'm going to take my life. Like, that's it. Like, I can't no more. Like, we're like halfway through the semester of the year and I'm done. Like, I can't do it anymore. Like, I'm overwhelmed. I'm drinking to feel numb, like in my room on a Tuesday night, like stealing alcohol from my parents, like just wanting to feel numb, And so I remember being in my closet and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I was going to hang myself in my closet. And I remember kind of feeling hesitant to do so, and I'm like crying. I have all my letters written already, like everything, like the whole 9 yards. Like, I was just going to do it. And I remember kind of feeling hesitant to a point where it felt like something was pulling me back. And I was trying to push it out and ignore it at the time. And as I'm about to like literally do it, my mom screams up to me for dinner. She's like, Amerie, like, dinner's ready. As she always does. She always screams up for dinner. And I'm just like, I'm going to ignore it. Because by the time, dinner's over, I'm not going to be here. Like, who cares? And my mom never does this till this day. I will say my mom never does this. I hear footsteps coming up the stairs. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, my mom never comes. If we don't answer for dinner, like, you're not eating. Like, like that's a Mexican mom. Like, she's just like, if you don't answer for dinner, like, either she'll send somebody to go get you, but she'll never come up there by her, like, for herself, like, to come up and get us, right? And it was like mother's intuition in a way.
Yeah.
And
Especially a Hispanic mother.
dude, me and my mom are best friends. Like, me and my mom are best friends. I love her so much. Me and my dad too now. Like, we're best friends. And I hear her footsteps coming upstairs, and she had just kind of, my baby sister was maybe like almost a year old, but still a baby. And I remember her walking in my room, and I'm laying down. At this time, I'm sitting on my closet because I'm waiting for her to like leave. And she sees that I'm not in there, and she comes looking for me in my closet. And she opens the door, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And like, she sees me cry, I just start crying to her. I'm like, "Mom, I don't want to be here. Like, I hate this. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, this and that." And she's like trying to figure out what I mean. Like, I just remember her saying like, "What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, in the house, in your school, like, what do you mean?" Like, she couldn't fathom what I was saying, I think. And she talks me down. We're in my closet for like 30 minutes. Finally talks me down. Like, she's just like, can we just at least get out of your closet?" Like, I just remember her saying that. "Can we just at least get out of your closet?" And like, she goes to like tell me to go lay in my bed. We go and lay in my bed, and as soon as I walk out, I see my baby sister sitting in my chair. And like, I don't know why, for me, that was the pivotal moment where I was like, I can't do this. Because I see my baby sister right there, and then my mom's walking me to bed, and I'm like, dude, I felt so selfish. Like, the most selfish thing that I could have ever done is, if I would have been dead in that closet, my mom would have had to have walked out, seeing her dead daughter, walked out and saw her baby that she almost just gave birth to, and then had to like figure that out. And it was like, wow, like in that room, it was almost like I would say now, like, that's where God kind of said,
Mm.
Amerie, you have a purpose. Like, you don't know what it is, but you have a purpose. And so, like, I think that's kind of when things switched for me, because I didn't feel like I was just going to keep on wasting stuff for no reason. I didn't feel like I was going to, like, there was no purpose to life, because I can just end it whenever I want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're playing GTA, sorry. Like, when you're playing GTA, you don't care if you crash the car, because it's just a game,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's just a game. But if I'm driving my car, if I crash my car, I crash my car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was almost like I went from playing GTA to playing a real life.
Yeah.
Like, it's real
The
life.
reality
You're
set
not,
in.
yeah, the reality set in. So that's what it was to me. It was like, wow, like, I can't just game over anymore. Like, I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I went through my whole life, my whole high school, still doing the same things, but just in a way being happier about it. Like, I found, like, I just found more love in my friends. I found more appreciation for my school. And it's not like I didn't have like most people, I feel so bad when they're like, I don't have friends. And I'm like, see, like, I've never, like, praise God that I've never had to struggle with that. And I feel so empathetic to the people who do. Like, I will literally be your friend, because it's like, I couldn't imagine what I would have done without. Were they the best friends ever? Probably not. But I've never had to struggle without having some sense of community,
Mm.
And so I kind of got more grateful for everything in that sense of life. And so, ending my senior year, I was in a relationship with the girl, by the way, guys. Right. If you didn't know. But yeah, we ended up, breaking things off, and it was just like, again, spiraling with my identity and figuring out like, who am I without somebody, or like, who am I in general. I end up having a job where I worked in the oil fields, and it was literally, people who have had blue collar jobs know that it's literally like, you're in the worst environment ever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
literally, I was in the worst environment ever. I got a taste of what the devil prowls on. I got the taste of what the devil can do in your life, to your family, to one human can affect a whole life. Um, and just in a town where that's literally where he roams, it will suck you up and spit you back out. And as an 18-year-old girl, like, even though I'm with, great friends and such, like, it was still learning. Wow. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, even if you're surrounded by the best people, like, you are literally still gonna see what I can do. Like, that's all he wants. That's all the enemy wants to do. You're gonna see what I can do. And it's gonna make you lose faith. we're going to lose faith. Even though you never had faith, we're going to lose it. And so I saw the people who introduced me to Christianity, like, even though they weren't on fire and I knew that, like, wow, that's what that means, you know? And not that it left a sour taste in my mouth to all Christians, but it was like, wow, like you showed me what God really means, and you're just gonna be this person behind closed doors and in front of me, like, dude, like what's wrong with me that you feel so comfortable doing these things,
Wow.
you know? And so I left that job. I ended up being in a relationship with an ex-girlfriend of mine, and we actually end up being together for a while, and how we got together was horrible. And I put my identity in her and what her family thought of me, because at the time my parents were leaving to go to Houston. So I kind of lost a lot, I feel like, with my family being gone. And so I don't know if you care about my shoe being on the couch.
No,
okay.
you're good.
Okay, cool. I should ask you earlier. Anyways, yeah, so they moved away, and it was like, oh, okay, like, cool, like, I don't care, because I have my job, I have, you know, my girlfriend, I have my car, I have all these things that I need, right? I don't need to be mommy and daddy's baby. I was wrong. And so I end up, like I said, putting my identity in her and her family. And obviously when you get together in a off way, like, that's not going to be the best experience. And so, but at the same time, we would go to church on Sundays, sometimes with her family at the 8 a.m.
Wait, at CBC.
At CBC. So that was my first impression of CBC, was going with my ex and her family at CBC.
That's actually awesome, though.
Romans 8:28, brother.
Yep.
And so literally as soon as we went, I fell in love. I literally never experienced a church where I was like, wow, I love this church. I'd never had a home church. The only other church I'd fell in love with was the one in California, but I felt like when I went to California, I left my faith in California and I just came back. And I just, back to the old me. And that's when all that stuff had happened. And so then coming to CBC, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. But it was only like on a Sunday, and I'm still smoking, I'm still drinking, I'm still, you know, indulging in my sexual morality. I'm still, you know, not being the best person I can be, in Christ or otherwise. And so, you know, I, you know, go through that whole relationship. We end up breaking up this year, early on this year. And at this time I lived by myself. You know, she lived with me, which is also a sin, guys. If you didn't know, you're not supposed to live with anybody who you aren't married to. So I'm just taking it the full 9 yards, like, not even just one little thing. Oh, you struggle with that? Me too, you know? And for a time I felt like that gave me some self-righteousness in a way, in the worst type of way.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, well, you struggle with drinking? Me too, at the age of 13. I've been smoking for 10 years. Oh, but you got to, oh, but on top of all of that, oh yeah, I have to get over something the Bible definitively says is wrong. And it's something that I've indulged in my whole life and I've put my identity in, and people praise me for. Like, if it would be one thing if, like, I'd be like, guys, I like girls, and everybody was like, oh, Amerie, we have to talk to you. I got praised for it. Like, and that's the worst thing to do for somebody. But I mean, we live in a sinful world, right? And so, yeah, we had ended up breaking up, and praise God that a close friend of mine and his girlfriend, they run a Bible study. So this whole time that I've been with this girl, I've been going to their Bible study. It almost overlaps almost perfectly. Literally had been going there for about 2 years and learning as I go. Like, learning, like, who this God character really is. You know, who Jesus is, what he can do in your life, what he can overcome, what it means to follow Jesus, everything, like, we would talk about. And it's a small college Bible study. And so that was kind of my only thing of community. And I couldn't go back to CBC because I didn't want to run into my ex-girlfriend and her family, even though they only go to the 8 o'clock, because they have like a 10, a 12, and a 2. Like, Amerie, come on. But I didn't know anybody who went, right? So My ex-girlfriend had told me that her and her friend were going to CG, and I was like, oh, like, where'd I'll go? And she's like, no. I was like, oh, cool, you know. The next week comes around, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna go regardless. I don't care if I'm sitting by myself. I go to in spite. I go to spite her. Literally, that's what I go for. I'm gonna spy on you and your new friend, right? And I was just like, dude, like, I'm gonna go to spite you, you know? And sure enough, I show up, dude, didn't see her. And it was a late night. It was a late night too. So it was packed. Well, my friend's little brother happens to go, who is very, 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 very close with his faith, takes it very seriously. Um, I end up sitting with him and his friend. Well, I end up running into Vanessa. And Vanessa's like, Amerie, like, you know how she is. I love her so much.
Yeah.
She's like, Amerie, like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here, like this and that, da 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 da. And she's just like, we need to catch up, right? We need to catch up. I'm like, okay. So boom, already meet her. Like, then the next couple of times I come to CG again, I'm still kind of coming for
In spite.
but I'm also coming because I really love it.
Yeah.
Then Jacob gives a sermon. I don't know if it was my first time or my second, but he gives a sermon. And his sermon was all about identity.
Jacob.
You go, dude, I still till this day give Jacob, you know, so much gratitude for him and Vanessa, because like literally I don't think I would be here. Like, it's still indulging in CBC, still indulging in CG, still doing all these things, finding community without them. And so his sermon hit me. I told him like literally the other day, I was like, dude, that sermon that you gave, like, it was his first sermon on the big stage in Maine. And he was so well, now I know because we're pals and he told me, right? But he was like, I was kind of nervous. I didn't know if I did good or not. And I said, Jacob, like, that sermon, where you put your identity, are you putting your identity in your sport? Are you putting your identity in the people you know, in what you do for work, in what relationship you're in, what you wear, where you go, who you know, like all these things? Where are you putting your faith? But are you putting your faith in Jesus? Are you putting your faith in somebody who has already deemed you worthy, who has already said he loves you, who gives you his undenying and undevoted attention, and this like amazing feeling in your heart that he has already deemed you who you are? And are you putting your faith with him, or are you putting your faith with somebody on this earth? And I was like,
slap me
silly, brother, because why am I here, you know? And so I was just like, wow, like, you know, if that doesn't show you that he could be that he's gonna be a pastor, I don't know what does. But yeah, so I keep coming, whatever. I had ended up running into her one of the weeks maybe, and I was like, dude, that experience kind of made me not want to go. And I remember the week after, or that same week, because remember it was on Thursdays at this time. That weekend, Vanessa had invited me to Jacob's birthday party, because he's an old man. He's 23. So old compared to your 50. Oh, I'm just kidding.
Minus
41.
9 years.
But yeah, I had ended up going, and that's where I kind of met everybody in a way. I met Price there, even though I'd ran into Price. That's where we kind of, it's an ongoing joke like now, because
you cannot not run into Price.
You cannot not run into him. He's freaking big guy. Like, well, he's tiny, but he's tall.
He's tall.
He's
the goat.
The goat, though, yeah. Molly, Carly, you know, all of these goats. People, all of the best people to meet, right? And so, you know, I'd ended up talking to everybody, and I remember Molly asking me kind of like, how's CG going? You know, because I'd only been going for like a month now. And she's like, oh, how's CG going? I go, oh, yeah, like, it's going good. I love it, but I don't know if I'm going to keep going. And she was like, kind of got serious.
Who's this?
Molly.
Molly Bentley?
Molly Bentley gets serious. When do you ever see Molly Bentley serious?
She was on the podcast.
I know. I watched it.
Oh, yeah.
I did. And she kind of got serious, and I was like, and she pulls me aside from everybody. Takes me in. This is at the boys' house at the time. Takes me into the, you know, the front room, the dining room.
We did Aiden Price's episode at
the boys' house.
Yep.
Dude, I love that house.
Yeah.
And well, now that I know it, dude, I've known everybody who freaking has been here for like years, and they're like, oh, that boys' house has so many memories. And I'm like, dude, I've only been there twice. And I'm like, dude, I can see that. And that's so amazing. Like, praise God, you know? But I'm jelly. A little bit. A little jelly. I should have been here earlier, but my fault.
That's right. You were right on time.
But I was right on time
Yep.
in God's eyes. Yeah. And I mean, now he's proving me right or wrong. Now he's proving me wrong because I am on time and I thought I wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, she pulls me aside, takes me into the front room, looks at me with her beautiful blue eyes. If you guys haven't met Molly Bentley, her beautiful blue eyes, golly, you will just fall into them.
Yeah.
And gets real serious with me and stares at my soul. And she's, I swear, bro. I swear.
Blue eyes.
No, I swear, bro. Stares at me with her beautiful blue eyes. And she's just like, starts leveling with me. And, you know, kind of getting vulnerable and telling me a story. And then she's like, but I say all that to say, right? She goes, keep coming. Keep coming. And she says it like 4 times. She's like, keep coming. Just, that's it. Keep coming. And I literally remember that moment being like, wow, I needed that. I needed to hear that, because if not, I would have not gone. That same, I kid you not, like that next common ground was probably the best common ground I ever had. And yes, I saw my ex and, you know, her whatever at the time, I don't know what, but, you know, it for me was, wow, this is fulfilling me. This is filling my cup. This is filling my cup without even knowing what filling my cup even meant. And I'm slowly but surely getting closer with the Lord. And I felt like I was still smoking. I was still drinking. I, at the time, was like, well, I just got a relationship, so I'm not looking for another relationship. So I'm not really indulging in that. Then the Lord he convicted me for smoking. And it was one of those things where I'm like, am I going to be God's child and literally smoke on the devil's lettuce? Like, the heck? Like, what does that even mean? You know? And I'd been smoking for 10 years now. And I was just like, okay, like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm not gonna. So I put it down, went cold turkey, and he genuinely, David, took that desire away.
That is amazing.
I praise God. Like, I smell weed now and I get disgusted. Like, it's ridiculous. I would have never thought I would see the day. Never thought I'd see the day. That last blunt that I had was, I mean, I was smoking and he convicted me. That was the last blunt I had. That's it. Like, no more. And I just bought in some, and then I had to sit and I was going to put it away. And like, I was like, oh, he convicted me. And I was like, no, Amerie, if you are going to say that he's taking it away, you're going to put it in front of you. And you're going to know without a doubt that if you go against him, it's because of you. And wow. I was like, wow. So it sat on my my living room table for about 2 weeks before I got rid of it. Because I was like, no, like, Amerie, if it's gone, you're going to mean what you say, and you're going to trust him, and you're going to be obedient, and you're going to get rid of it, but it's going to be in front of you. You're not going to get rid of it and then take it away and hide it away. No, it's going to be right in front of you, because what happens if it comes in front of you and you're like, oh my gosh, like you're salivating at the mouth because you haven't seen weed in 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I kind of took that with every aspect of my life. Like, everything else that he taken away, I kind of take that. I'm like, okay, like, if he takes away, if you're going to disobey, it's because you're being disobedient, not because he hasn't taken it away. It's, are you going to give it up? You know what I mean? Like, are you going to give it up? And so, you know, going through CG, I start volunteering, which also is Jacob too. Jacob was like, Amerie, you're going to volunteer. And I was like, okay. And he was like, I'm going to put you on Connect because I think that's where you belong. And I was like, okay. And he was just like, but you can only do it 1 week if you want. You can do it. Just try it out. Sure enough, first time I do it, haven't stopped going since. I volunteer every week. I love it so much. It genuinely fills my cup.
That's
serving
awesome.
Is probably the best thing to ever happen in life. But I do want to pivot before we get into serving.
Yeah, sure.
Because,
which, by the way, is where I met you. It connects. Because that's when I jumped in.
Yes.
And here we are. Okay.
Dude, I love Connect.
Yeah.
I love talking to people. I meet so many people. I feel like that's where I'm meant to be, and I feel like Jacob knew that. Because he always mentions how, like, first person he met was Kiki Kiki was on Connect.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, dude, like it's gonna be something so, useful.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like, oh, I'm just gonna be doing that. Like, no, I'm gonna be meeting people, and somebody can meet me and remember me because they're gonna be like, oh, this person said hi.
Yeah.
And I would rather do that than be like, oh, hi guys, welcome. Even though I love welcome team, guys, I love welcome team. I'm always out there too. I go between Connect and welcome because I'm like, I want to pick one.
Yeah.
But I feel like with Connect, you get to talk to people, and that's what I deem, worthy of my
That's
quote
your calling.
unquote calling gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. And so I do want to say, even with, like I said, with coming to church and coming to CG and CBC, I've only been at CBC. Well, I started going to CBC the 2:00 because that's where everybody goes. I remember, I forgot who told me. Somebody at CG. Oh, I think it was Molly too. She's like, dude, everybody at CG goes to the 2:00. Sure enough, go to the 2:00. Everybody
I actually
goes
was
to
at the 2:00 2 weekends ago, and I think I saw everybody there.
Goes there, and we all sit in one
Yeah,
section.
in the section.
And so, which I love because I needed that, because I was so scared to go to Sunday service because of running into whoever versus what are you going for, Amerie? Are you going for God, or
Wow.
you're going for inspired or out of fear?
Yeah.
What are you going for? And it was like a self-check where I was like, wow. And so now all I go to anything for is for the Lord. And if it's not for the Lord and it doesn't glorify him, why am I going? Like if I go for a selfish reason, I think Mac had convicted me over she didn't mean to convict me, but she convicted me.
Go Mac.
Yeah, I love Mac. Macaroni and cheese, I love you. Big Mac.
I am going to. She was also
MacBook.
She's also a Life Stories,
dude.
Fam Bam.
Yeah, I know, dude. You got the whole game. You're collecting us like Infinity Stones, brother. He is collecting us like Infinity Stones. Come on now.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I went on a snap.
Yup. Hey, Snapchats were out of existence, bro.
Freedom.
Oh my gosh,
Chains break.
funny. Right? Hey, that's fire. But yeah, so what am I going for? What am I here for? What am I volunteering for? Like, whether it be selfish or otherwise for anybody else, or if it's for a selfish reason. But anyways, yeah, still going to CBC, but also still in like my identity still kind of being in my homosexuality. I've stopped smoking. I've stopped drinking as much. I mean, dude, I used to be an alcoholic. So like me having one cocktail or two at home, guys, I'm 21, guys. But like with my grandma or something like that, to me is way better than what I used to be doing. I don't go out, like all these things. And also I feel like it is up to personal conviction. I don't feel convicted about, whereas when I do feel conviction, I cut it off immediately. Or try to, because we're all human, we all fall short, right? But still, I started questioning my homosexuality. I'm like, how can I be in Christ and I'm literally doing something against him? And at the same time, I had met a friend who struggled with the same thing, and she had her very strong beliefs in it. And we had ended up getting to talking, and she had said something one time where she was like, either you take him serious or you don't. Dude, you could hear a pin drop in that room. And I was just like, wow. Like, she was like, no, for real. Like, either we take him serious or we don't. Like, are you going to, like, mess around? Like, literally, not only is it a sin, but it's a sin against your own body, where we talk about, what chapter is it? Flee from sexual immorality, because it's literally the one sin that you commit against yourself.
Yeah.
And it got serious to a point where nobody at church has ever told me, Amerie, being gay is a sin. Like, yes, I know that. Like, duh. Like, this is the first thing you know, right? Like, I mean, for me, it was, like, I know all these things are bad, but is it gonna stop me? No. And so it was one of those things where, like, I started questioning, and I think even my parents got a little worried. My dad literally just over this past week asked me about that because he was worried that people were judging me, one, but two, condemning me in a way.
Gotcha.
And I told him, I said, Dad, there's nothing for you to worry about, because the people that I have surrounded around me are the best people in the world. They encourage me in the best way. Um, and my godly counsel is something different from my community, because my godly counsel is somebody who I see talking the talk and walking the walk, you know? Like, I go to I go to certain people who genuinely take their salvation and their faith very serious. My community is somebody who, yes, I would hope you're taking your faith serious, but I genuinely don't know. Like, you know, what, I just see you every once in a while, or we hang out and it's this and whatever. But, my counsel, best people I could talk to about it, and I go to them. And so anytime I talk about my sexuality, it's me going to you asking you about it, not you coming and condemning me. And I've even had people from my small group who have come to me in almost a high horse type of way. And I've had a conversation with this gentleman now, because he's literally one of my best friends, him and his now wife and child. But it almost felt like he was coming to me and like condemning me, even because he just got out of his sin. But I know that's not the case of where he was coming from. Great guy, comes from a great heart. But when you approach somebody with something so deep, and I've tried to integrate this in every aspect of my life, when you come to somebody who is dealing with something very deep, how you approach them should be with the most like sensitive way, because you have to come with them with, yes, correction, but yes, you have to come with them with grace. And it's almost like Paul with Peter, like you have to come with grace. You cannot just be like, oh, well, what you're doing is wrong, and I care about your salvation, but you're gonna go to hell if you keep doing it.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, why are you gonna, like, you cannot do that. Like, you have to exercise one of the fruits of the Spirit, which is gentleness. And it's something that we all have to work on, right? But I think, finding out that everything is so spiritual, and everything is an attack. Like, not everything is an attack from the enemy, because we all have free will. You cannot do something wrong and then be like, oh, well, it was attack from the enemy. Like, no,
Don't make me do it.
You exercised your free will, brother.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, it was one of those things where learning. And I think that my friend had actually helped me a lot, because it's one thing to hear from somebody who struggled with like smoking or like drinking or just having sex with whoever, versus somebody who genuinely knows the struggle. And it's still a struggle. Yeah, and it's still a struggle. Like, am I gonna sit here and say like, oh, I'm not still attracted? Like, yes, but what do I do with that? Where do I go with that? Where do I give it to the Lord? Do I surrender that to the Lord? Do I say, God, I know that this is wrong, but I'm still gonna indulge. But by the time that I'm 45 and 50 and 60 years old, I'll give it up to you. Like, no. Like, how grateful are we to know God right now? Which is also something that I was so bitter about. Like, telling my friend, I'm like, this is so unfair. Like, this is so unfair. Like, almost to the point of tears, where I felt like it was so unfair. And she was like, but how grateful are we to know him so young? Like, how grateful are we to know him so young? To know him right now, that we can do all of these things. And imagine when you get over this, how great you're going to be for the kingdom. Imagine that. And I said, wow. And so since that conversation, I've had a conversation with another woman, Miss Brenda Zarita from Ambassadors. Amazing woman, dude. I love her so much.
We love Ambassadors
yeah,
Coffee.
we love Ambassadors Coffee. We had a conversation, and she really helped me put it into terms of, this is spiritual, this is real. What you're feeling is not you. Like, you have to cut it off. You have to. The enemy will convince you your feelings are your feelings, but it's spiritual, and your feelings are a lie, and it's biblical, and either you're gonna do it or you're not. And she's gone through some stuff. She has gone through some stuff, and when I asked God for a mentor, he placed her in my heart, because I was like, I need somebody who's gone through some stuff, because I can't have somebody coming to me and their biggest thing was this, and it's like, bro,
I went to dance halls.
and yes, bro, like, come on.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, buddy. Like, yeah, me too, when I was 16 years old. Like, and so that's the thing to me. Like, and that's where I got self-righteous with my sin, where the Lord checked me about that. He was like, Amerie, your sin, you can get over your sin, but where do you go from there? Are you going to judge other people for their sin, even though it's all dragging us away from Christ? where, you know, it may not be the equalist of sin, but it's all equally dragging us away from Christ. And so, you know, she had kind of put things in perspective where I was like, wow. She's like, Amerie, you have to come out of agreement with that. You have to stop saying you're gay. You have to stop doing this. You have to stop doing that. And I was
Yes.
like, oh my gosh, Brenda, you're like,
Yes.
and it was so refreshing, bro, because I was like, I had never heard it be put in that way. Like, come out of agreement. What does that even mean? Like, you know, and she's walking me through step by step. What does this mean? What does this mean? Are you feeling that like your feelings are a liar? Come out of agreement with this. Get out of bed with these demons. Do that. Like you're, you know, and in the best way possible, because I almost needed it to be like, you know, from somebody who knew, because
Yeah.
she had started off with, you know, how do you say, like resonating with me with something. It may not have been homosexuality, but it was something serious. And I was just like, wow. Like I felt like she had the room. She had the room to speak. I'll tell you that much. And it was just us in a private conversation. And so after that, I was like, okay, wow, like I changed my Instagram name because I got convicted about my Instagram name. My Instagram name was Gamery because that was my nickname all through high school. I changed it because I got so convicted about it. And I was like, see, like it starts with the little things where I may not be attracted to men, or I may not, you know, think that this and that. And, but why, like, that's, who am I to say that, you know, like the Lord has a plan. He doesn't want me to be alone. He has a husband lined up for me, which I still can't even fathom. Like, I can't even fathom that because I don't, you know, but she had told me one important piece of information. She said, you have to stop fighting the undertow. I said, what do you mean? She's like, you right now are fighting the undertow trying to get back to shore. And she's like, you are fighting the outcome, which is eventually having to be with a man, which I didn't want to do. And then you have to stop fighting the journey, which is, am I going to have to stop doing this? Am I going to have to start doing this? Am I going to like, this is all overwhelming. She's like, you have to stop fighting those things. You're fighting the undertow. She's like, let go. Let go. I said, but if I let go, like I don't even know what that meant. Like, if I let go, I'm just not going to care. She's like, Amerie, let go. When you let go, the undertow drags you out. But guess what? The waves, they bring you back in. And they bring you back in safely. And they bring you back into where you need to be. She's like, the Lord will bring you back. She's like, but let go of all of that. Let go of fighting everything to let go of this sin in your life. Come out of agreement with it. Get out of bed with the demons. Get out of this mindset of where you are, because it's not real. It's not real. Your feelings are lying to you because they're not your feelings. They're not. And I was like, oh, oh my gosh.
Wow.
In a 30-minute conversation, she changed the trajectory of how I saw myself and how I saw my sin and how I could get rid of things. And that is kind of where I feel like added that big chapter of my testimony, to where I had to call, like, it's almost like people are like, oh yeah, coming out as gay. Like, I have to come out as quote unquote straight now. Like, that's dumb.
Come
But
out as
that's,
saved.
come out, there it is.
Changed.
And so, yes. And so one of my favorite things is, one of the fruits of the Spirit is not being straight. One of the fruits of the Spirit is having self-control.
Wow.
That's not a fruit of the Spirit. If it
Come on, sister.
point me to the verse where it says that. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Does it say that things are wrong? Yes. But where's the fruit of the Spirit where it says that? It says to have self-control. And so what God calls us to do is to be dead to self and be born again in his name. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm exercising that in every aspect of my life. And if I see if my right hand causes me to sin, cut it off. Like, why would I? And like I said, I give so much credit to my friend, because she genuinely helped me work through this in a way where I'm like, oh wow, I would have never thought of it like that. I would have never thought of it like that. And yes, it's hard, bro. It's hard.
Yeah.
Like, it is hard. It's not easy. Being a Christian isn't easy. If being a Christian was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Yep.
Like, it's one of the hardest things ever, and I think that's what stirs new believers away. But it's not to stir you away. It's with great power comes great responsibility. When you have great power, what you do, Jesus literally said, we are going to have the power to do so much stuff in his name, but that more than he ever did. And he was bringing people back to life and making people, you know, see when they were blind. Like, we have that power, but we have to have the responsibility for that power. Like, we have to be responsible for our actions. We have to be responsible for our faith and our salvation. Sometimes some of us are even called to be responsible for somebody else's salvation. Are you going to be obedient and talking to them about Jesus and planting the seed? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes that's just what he calls us to do, but
Yeah.
are you going to be obedient and lean into that?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to lean into that? And so that's where I was like, wow, like, am I going to keep deterring my homosexuality and be somebody else's stumbling block? Because they're going to be like, oh, I love Amerie and Amerie's so cool and Amerie's on fire for God. But why is there a but at the end of my faith? I don't want there to be. I don't want there to be a but at the end of my faith. I'm not going to be somebody else's stumbling block for you to tell me, well, you didn't say it was okay, but I see you kind of doing this. And so I think it gives me room to do a little bit of this.
Wow.
Brother,
That is thick.
tie a rope on your neck and drop it to the bottom of the ocean with a brick. Because that's what God calls us to do if we are leading one of his. He would rather us do that than lead one of our brothers or sisters astray. Like, why would I lead somebody astray with something that I'm not giving to God to give up? Because I can't give it up. If it was in my power and what I wanted to do, I would have never even thought about it like that. I would have never even thought to give it up. I'd be like, oh, well, I'm just not gonna, because I've tried all the ways. I'm like, well, if I find a girl, then, we're just gonna be celibate till marriage, and she's gonna be in the church because that's a non-negotiable in my life. And like, no, Amerie, cut it off, period.
Mm-hmm.
There is no negotiating with God.
Wow.
You cannot negotiate your faith.
Yeah.
You can't. What the Bible says, what the Bible says. Are you going to go off the Bible?
You take him seriously or not?
Yeah, exactly. How serious do you take your faith? Do you take it serious or do you not?
So good.
Dude. And like, when I heard that, I was like, oh, wow. Like, but I needed to hear that, because I was like, oh, I'm like, even though I'm doing all this stuff and doing all of this stuff and, letting all this go, but this one thing I'm going to carry for me: turn away from me. I never knew you.
Scariest words in
Scariest
history.
words. And that's where when you let the fear of the Lord in over man, which and we all struggle with, right? Like, we're scared of somebody's feelings, and we're scared of letting go of this thought in our head, and we're scared, but we're fearing man over fearing the Lord. And are you going to fear the Lord enough to surrender everything at his feet? Everything. That doesn't just mean one thing, two things, what you can give, what you want to give. No. Are you going to surrender everything? Everything. Heart, mind, body, soul, everything. And so when I did, and honestly, bro, it took me probably 2 weeks to kind of sit with myself and be sad about it. But it was 20 years of me fighting with myself in my life, in my relationships. And my relationship was never going to work out anyway. Like, it was 20 years of me doing that, for that little bit to be taken and that weight to be lifted, for me to be like, oh my gosh, this is where he wants me. I trust you, God. I trust you. Because you have never let me down now. You have led me everywhere I need to be. You have never put me in a position that if I couldn't handle it, you gave me the strength to handle it. You have never made me so small and insecure, and that you have always lifted me up and put me in the right rooms.
Wow.
Like, you have done that. So am I going to allow God to be God?
Allow God to be God.
Allow God to be God. That's it.
That's crazy. And I mean, that's a phenomenal story. There's so many. I mean, we could end this right now and it'd be just as powerful. But I think I don't want to cut you off. Good. That's your story.
Yeah.
There's more.
I mean, that's pretty much, you're caught up on my life a little bit, I guess you could say.
I think
besides me volunteering, but everybody knows me at CG and at CBC, like, doing all that. Like, preteen in itself has been such an impact. Students has been that's why I feel so called to students, because of my 9th grade year. And so when I thought about going to students, when I did fall retreat, when I got called, that was it. And I was like, okay, this is it.
See, I didn't go to high school. I was homeschooled for high school.
Hmm?
I was homeschooled for high school. So I don't know what it is,
Oh,
but
you're one of those weird ones like
yeah, I,
Sarah Fetch. Because she's
we're
so
weird
fetch.
together. I love Sarah. Sarah's
I
amazing.
love Sarah. I always bully her because I thought she hated me.
No,
I thought she hated me. We
I've known
laugh
Sarah
about
for
that all the time.
gosh, a long time. But you know, your story is a very controversial story. But you know, we live in this culture where it's like, well, this is my truth.
Yeah.
And they promote this my truth thing until it conflicts with their truth. And you saying this, and somebody could be listening to this who's walking down that, who has adopted this identity as themselves and has no interest in changing. They're gonna say, well, that's you're a bigot, you're just another Christian, brainwashed, all the things in the book. But where's my truth thing when it comes to this? But it really doesn't matter about your truth, not even your truth or my truth or their truth.
Wait, we're talking about, you're talking about my truth. What about the way, the truth, and the light?
Yeah, I was gonna say that there's only,
Like,
I mean, you know, I have
what? Don't. Whoa! You gotta say what you're about to say.
well, I was just gonna say that I have such a heart for that community.
110%.
And I just think that the church, the whole church, the whole church as a whole, not CBC or any other church, has done a terrible job of ministering to this community because, like you said, there's a lot of people out there who will condemn it. I mean, right off the bat, and I'm like, you know, this isn't a struggle like alcohol or pornography or drug addiction. This is somebody's identity. It's like telling somebody your name's not Amerie.
Yeah.
You know, it's Sarah.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
well, my name is Amerie, so it's not Amerie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
See, a lie already. But, you know, we have to approach this with so much grace.
100%.
And I've grown up in churches my entire life. And I've heard so many pastors approach this subject or topic. And I've been utterly disappointed in the way it's been delivered. Yes, are they delivering truth? Absolutely. Are they stating fact? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I will say the most disgusting thing I've ever heard from a preacher's pulpit on the topic of homosexuality is this joke where God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. And I attended a church, and I won't say who or what, but
no, call him up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, I'm kidding. And I don't think it was done with any ill intent, but it's very hurtful. That your struggle's a joke line. You know, but I remember attending CBC, or maybe like a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and the subject never came up. And I remember thinking, like, I want to know where the church stands on this. And it was something that Pastor Ed never really brought up until the trending series came out, the first one.
My friend that I was telling you host me brought that up.
Yeah.
And she told me what he said. Go ahead.
Yeah. And
I love it.
I have never heard a pastor of such influence like Pastor Ed is, a mega church pastor, the largest church in San Antonio. Now the guy is trending on social media and is bold enough to call sin and say, hey, this marriage is between a man and a woman. Sex is meant to be in the confounds between marriage, man and woman. But do it with so much grace. And I'm like,
because do you remember exactly what he said?
You'll have to remind me.
Okay,
because I'm probably like, oh yeah.
Because David, I love you. He had said from what, and like I said, this kind of game of telephone, but she had said that he said when it comes to that sin, he's like, people judge who's walking in our church, who you see them being gay, homosexual, whatever. He's like, I give them more props for putting their sin on their sleeve rather than your sin. Hi, I'm so and so and I cheat on my wife. Hi, I'm so and so and I
Oh
launder
yes, I
money.
remember
Hi,
that.
I'm so and so and I do that. Because when do you do that?
Yeah.
And so I think what you said is right about you're changing somebody's identity, because when it comes to sin that's in the dark, this sin is glorified in the light.
Hmm.
And so it's like you have to kind of attack
And
it to
it's
where,
not sin
and it's
in culture.
in culture.
Yes.
And you're going to call culture. Like,
Yeah.
how much of our culture is a lie? Pretty much all of it.
All of it.
Pretty much all of it. No, if not all of it, if not 99% of it,
Because it's all about yourself.
it's all about yourself.
And the Bible is completely contrary to that.
Yes.
It's uh
Dude, dead to self.
crucify oh my gosh, can
Crucify the flesh.
Yes. Or for I'm crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live. Like
Yes.
everything that I am
Yep.
is absolute worthless.
Yep.
Because I live, I sleep, I breathe, I eat to
Mm-hmm.
please Jesus alone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about my wants, my desires, my will,
All
Granted,
of
I think that God gives you dreams and aspirations, and He gives you those things, and those things
Oh,
are all good.
100%.
But again, for His glory.
Exactly. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, and so, if you're a regular Life Stories podcast listener, you hear the name CBC come up all the time. We're a very large church, and I see it every week. And now that I'm on the east, it's a little bit smaller, so we have a campus, and I'm no longer at our main campus at Central, so I'm not in all the action, ground zero of CBC.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was there, and even when I do go in, I see couples of same-sex couples.
Yes.
And it's like my heart breaks, but I'm also so happy that they're there.
Yeah.
Because where else are they going to go? If they can't come to church, where do they go?
Dude, I seen this story, and it was a pastor saying, now let's all sit here and pretend that a woman walks in, short dress, skimpy heels, like literally makeup done, boobs out. And he's like, what's your first thought when I say that? And he's like, I know what your first thought was. It was immediately to judge. How could she? How could she walk into church with this short dress? How does she have the audacity? And he's like, you don't know where she was at before this. You don't know what she had to do. You don't know what her choices were in life. You don't know anything about her. And she's going to come into our church because she feels this is the one place she feels safe.
Or her last attempt.
And her last attempt. You don't know. And he's like, and the first thing that we're going to do is judge. He's like, we need to open people with open arms, no matter what. He's like, because we can go a year from now and her still be here, and she completely give her life to God and completely change her ways and completely do this. But if we judge her and we do this and we condemn from the first thing that we as a church do, and as a congregation, that is her first like initial thing, she's not going to come back.
Yeah. And not only that, though, is even in your testimony is you were already going to church for a few months, but you were still indulging in this. And
I want to preface by saying in a way, because although I was in church and I don't want to say indulging in it, but I wasn't giving it up either.
Right.
Saying sleeping around. Like, dude, even at that was my life in high school. So the relationships that I was in was when I gave that up. Right. But see, that's where I started coming up with compromises and being like, oh, well, if I do this, then we're not going to sleep till marriage, and we're not going to do this, and we're not going to. So yes,
you start twisting
and you start, compromising the Bible.
Interesting. That's the same thing the devil did in the Garden of Eden.
Yep.
Right? Did God really say?
Yep.
Bam.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, bro. Yeah. Exactly.
So, but I'm saying, sometimes shame does not come immediate.
Oh, not at all, bro.
I had this conversation with someone who I used to attend church with, and loved the guy, and I know his heart behind this was good, but I was really disappointed in the conversation, to be honest.
Okay.
Is because he is he's again coming to CBC mega church, a little different from an Hispanic, very traditional.
Oh, yep.
You come to the altar and God changes you right then and there. Yeah. And if you don't change right there, then you never met Jesus. Bull crap.
Yeah.
And so I remember this conversation, and he's like, well, how many people in your church are actually, reading their Bibles and doing all the Christian things
Doing
to
all the
do.
things, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, he's like, well, if they're not really serving, then just kick them out, get them out. Like, we're
Oh
wasting
my
our time. And I'm
gosh.
like, are you like
Dumb.
nuts?
Are
I'm
you?
trying to think of a nice way
Yeah,
to say it. Like, I'm like,
I'll say it. No, I'm just kidding. I
do
shouldn't.
people come to the hospital and get healed right away?
Yeah,
Like,
no.
no. Like,
And
it's
some
just,
people need, and that's the thing. Like you're talking about a hospital. Like some people need a stitch or two, and
yeah,
they can leave fine. But some people are coming in with gunshot wounds.
yeah.
Some people are coming in there having been beaten and starved, and kids and adults and old people. And some people are coming because they fell. You know what I'm saying? Like we all come to the church. It's a hospital at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day. Like we all come to the church in very different states, and it says to come as you are. We're supposed to all come as you are, but don't stay as you are. You know what I mean? Like, and that is my favorite saying because it is so true how I came broken and beaten and ashamed and head down and tiny, just tiny.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like, wow, this was the one place that I could go where I genuinely feel like everything that I was, because I was putting my identity in the wrong people, even people in general. Why are you putting your identity in a person?
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, and it just came from where everything that I was doing was wrong. Me being friendly was wrong. Me being having all these people's location was wrong. Me doing all these stuff was wrong. Does it look good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah, me doing all this stuff was wrong, but being in church, it's like, dude, that's so normal. You talking
Yeah.
to people is normal, and it's for the glory of God.
Yeah.
My goodness. Dude.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I say this all the time, you know, for someone who's walking, for the homosexual, I apologize for the church
Mm,
because if there's a safe place to run to, it should be the church.
mm,
Even in your couple, your
mm.
partners, like you came with your partner.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that floored me the most is like you came with your partner and God worked his freedom in you.
Mm,
You went to church,
mm-hmm,
not intending to
Mm.
find truth.
mm-hmm.
You went to be with your partner, fell in love with the church, fell in love with the culture of the church, and then ultimately fell in love with God,
Yeah.
which what changed you.
Yep.
So this false truth that you have to come to church and surrender everything right away, or I'm not sorry, not that, but yes, surrender everything right away, but to change right away, like immediate changes.
To say it's an overnight process is ridiculous.
Which I won't ever say that God can't.
I was about to say that too. I was about to say with me, like I said, with smoking weed, took it away right away.
Yeah.
Desire was gone in a day.
Yeah.
A 10-year desire gone in a day. Versus me liking women, that's something that was a little greater. But nothing is too great for him. Nothing is too big, too small. There are no coincidences. And I feel like that your friend had said, like, well, if you're not going to do it, then don't do it and just leave. It's like that is such a harsh statement because at what point are we not exercising the fruits? Because that's what I'm gonna judge you off. I'm gonna judge you by your fruits, you know. Because and I saw this thing. It was a pastor up on stage and he calls one of his fellow I don't know if he was a volunteer or somebody, his mentee or whatever. And he's like, I told him to wear a black wife beater and I'm wearing a black wife beater. And he's like, we go to the same gym. We have the same trainer. We do the same workout. He's like, but look at him and look at me. And it's like this big buff guy. And he's like, and then this like, he's an older guy, but he's like bigger. And he's like, but the difference is when we go out, after I'm done going to the gym, I go and eat a donut because I'm like, oh, well, I went to the gym. I can eat a donut. Versus this guy, he's like, when I leave the gym, he's like, I don't eat the meal because I just went to the gym. I eat my meal prep and I meal prep and I do this. He's like, we can all go to the same church and read the same message and do the same things, but are you implementing it in your life?
That's so good. Yeah.
And so I was like, wow. And that's where the strength comes in. And so it's like, are you really rejoicing in him? Or are you just going to check off a box?
So good.
Dude, and I felt that because I feel like, you know, there are people in my life where I'm like, dude, it grieves me when we go and hear the same message and we go to the same church and we do the same thing. But I don't see your fruits, you know? Whereas, yes, you may look happier. And yes, people may think you're a Christian. but are you behind closed doors? And that's between you and the Lord.
Well, think about it. The religious leaders in Jesus' day did
Mm.
everything right. They did everything by the book, right? But who called them hypocrites?
Yep.
Literally Jesus himself.
Yep. Them Pharisees,
So
bro.
there's Pharisees in the church.
Oh, 110%.
And we can't avoid them.
Yeah.
Combat them even them with grace.
Yes. Oh, 100%, bro.
So,
Because we all fall short, but there's a difference between falling short and struggle versus unrepentance.
there's something I say that if you're not struggling, you're not growing.
There we go.
Because if you're wait, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. If you're struggling, you're growing. But you're not struggling, it's either you've adopted your sin and accepted it, or you've overcome it.
Exactly.
So if there's a difference between struggling and sinning.
Yeah. Oh, well, exactly.
So, and the thing is someone who's struggling with homosexuality or whatever it may be struggling for years. And it pains me to say some people, they're gonna be struggling with their attraction for the rest of their life.
Dude.
And I read a book, and I'll share it with you. I read a book, and it's called Born Again This Way.
Wow.
And it's a woman's testimony of coming out of homosexuality, and she's now married. She's
See, that's why I love Jackie Hill Perry.
I don't know who wrote this book. I can't remember.
I don't.
It's a blue book. That's all I know.
Because
and I actually got the bookstore at CBC to sell it for a while, and they did. And then I don't know if they sold it because that's not there anymore. So, but she talks about in her book of certain people who have come out of this lifestyle, and they're like, this is an attraction that we have, and we've been fighting it for years, and either this is the desires that we have, or God has not chosen to take this. But till the day that I die, I'm going to sacrifice my flesh and serve Jesus till the day that I die.
Wow.
And I think about rewards in heaven. I'm like, how great for people who have literally killed their flesh.
Wow. Yeah.
Because the struggle. You go to bed thinking like, I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like I'm never gonna have that family or that spouse or whatever. And I think that finding community in church can definitely help. But when you go home, it's like, oh, or you wake up, or you see like TikToks when their families are opening presents. I'm like, oh, I got a good dress.
And I have to. It's almost like a switch where you have to be like, okay, like this sucks, but does it really suck?
Renew your mind. Romans 12:2. Be not conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Yes.
And my old pastor, Pastor Gary Mathis, the goat of pastors.
So many goats in this community, dude.
And he would always reference the New Living Translation where it said, change the way you think. And that's literally the key to it all. We have to rewire our brains and change the way that we think. So
yeah, and it's a rewiring at the end of the day. And I think with anybody, that's what it is. And that's why I don't, like, for as much as I was being self-righteous, I would go and seek counsel from people who weren't struggling with that. And I remember, like, I even know that there have been people, like, dude, M. Medina, I remember her. Another goat, bro. I love her so much. She had told me something that just, like, literally made me rethink a lot. And it was like, I was telling her about my ex and, her new relationship. And I was like, well, I don't know if they're having sex or not. Like, I don't really care. Like, blah, whatever. And she was just like, well, I would hope not, because I wouldn't want that for any one of my brothers or sisters. And for that to even transform the way I saw somebody who I used to once like or love or whatever, to see everybody, not just that person, but everybody as a brother or sister on a playing field. Just that little snippet of transformation.
Wow.
Dude.
This is why church is so important.
Oh, 100%.
In community. Because somebody's going to say something and it's just like a pie. Everybody comes with a piece of the puzzle. And I've heard you mention M. I've heard you mention Molly. I've heard you mention Michaela.
Yeah, and Jacob and Vanessa and dude, everybody is a piece of the pie. Yeah.
But man,
even Price, dude. Price
absolutely.
Since I'm going to West with him, I think even after I remember I was telling you, I was like writing on the wall and literally.
West. Yeah. I love West.
But when we were walking out, he's like, I'm so happy you're coming. Just immediately starts pouring into me. He's like, I have seen, because remember I met him at Jacob's thing. From then, Jacob's birthday party to where I am now, very different. and he had mentioned that, and I think he was the first person to kind of mention that, other than like Vanessa or something, and just immediately started pouring into me, and I was like, wow, like I needed that because I'm so scared, even in the student ministry, even in all of this stuff, like I'm scared to minister wrong. I'm scared to lead someone astray with the words. Like, it's serious. Like, it's serious. What you say is serious, like, regardless of if it's intentional or not. Like, you can either change somebody's life for the good or change somebody's life for the bad. And I think that's kind of what I like was like telling him. I was like, dude, I'm scared. Like, I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I know enough scripture. I don't know if I know this. I don't know if that. And he was just like, dude,
Just be
just
you.
be you. Like, I asked you because you're you.
Oh, Price.
And I was like, Price, thanks, brother. I needed that.
I want to um brag on Price real quick because
Oh, please don't.
just
No,
we're
please
gonna
don't.
cut us off right now. But like, Price is so special. He's just a gift to humanity, I think. And he's always talking about how other people encourage him, and him and Lindley, Aiden Lindley, who's also a podcast family.
Also podcast, and also a goat.
Yes.
Lindley is such a
Yes. Very absolutely. Got to live with that guy for a month.
Yeah.
And great guy.
Yeah.
And but he would talk about Lindley a lot and how Lindley would challenge him and the things that Lindley would say, and I'm like, bro, but you're that to us. You do that to me. Like, you're praising these other people, and that's great, and that's a good thing. But I'm like,
recognize your gift too.
Recognize your gift. Like, I mean, there was one time I was with Sarah V and Aiden at Taco Palenque. That is my place, by the way. And I don't know what I was talking about, and I don't remember what he said, to be completely honest. But I remember I don't know what I was talking about, and he just stops me and just pours into me, just randomly. I'm like, I could literally like cried 500 tears at the Taco Palenque table.
Bro.
But no, that's Price. If you listen to this, you're a goat.
Yeah, if he listens,
he will.
Who knows? He won't. Will he?
You gotta listen to your West team,
right, dude?
Right? Or otherwise, she's gonna come to East.
No, I'm so sold on West. It's not even funny. And I think even since we're talking about West, I was even telling, because Price had brought you up in a conversation. He's like, because I was like, dude, I think the only thing that's gonna be crazy is like only being here on a Wednesday, and then like not coming Sundays or like not coming any other time. And he's like, well, I'll tell you what. He's like, I know like David, sometimes he'll be like, oh, the people that I'm meeting there, like I miss them or like something like that. So it kind of made me think, wow, am I really gonna go on like Sundays and go to Central and be like, oh, but I miss my West fam, like I miss those people because they either they're on staff or they're transferring their whole family. Because I don't know if you know Brooke. Do you know Brooke? Like works with preteen. Mason, her son. She has 2 daughters.
I have to see a face.
Right.
Can't believe I don't know.
Right, dude. She was.
You broke me.
Nah. Dude, I feel the same way when I don't know somebody. But I feel like I'm so like not late in the game that I don't like. It's kind of normal for me not to know a lot of people. But like some OGs, I just don't know because they're already been there and then left, whatever. But I know like they're moving their families to a church, and that's going to be their home church. But how beautiful is it to build a church from the ground up?
Yeah.
And I know that you talk about it with East, but it's like, dude, like it's something so special because Central's already established. And because God called me to West. I'm not just going because it's closer, because I didn't want to go.
I know.
I literally fought Aiden for like 15 times. Like he's telling me come, and I'm like, no. And it was that last time where I'm just giving God my yes and just being obedient. And
imagine
being like,
what
God,
he can do with a 3-letter word.
Say it again.
And it's funny you say that because I mean we've had this conversation. I'm just saying it with East. Like I love Central.
Yes.
But I'm like, and East is.
But when he brother, when he calls, he calls.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you are, what you want, what you're comfortable with. It doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, where do you root your faith? Do you root your faith in a church? Do you root your faith in community? Do you root your faith in comfortability, or are you rooting your faith in Him and following suit to where He's telling you to go?
Yeah.
And so I think that's what West is for me, is a new chapter. Even though I just kind of started this chapter with CBC in a whole, but I already felt like I've Dude, like people are so surprised when they like I've only my first CG was in June.
Yeah, I didn't know that you were this new to
No,
CBC.
and nobody does. Nobody
But
does.
you
But it
just,
makes sense, right? Because now you're like, "Oh, well that's why I haven't seen you."
well, that just goes to show you, you are who you are, you hang around with.
Wow.
So,
Wow, that is so true.
and I would have never have known that you were so fresh out of the oven.
Yeah. And I think I also have to attest some of that like with my faith, like the reason I was so eager to go to church with my ex-partner and her family was because I was going to that Bible study. It was a Friday night Bible study, and I was learning all of these things. I was learning all of these things and like getting so eager for God, but I didn't have a church. And so that's why when I went to CBC, I fell so in love because I'm like, wow, they already knew I love God, right? Because but at what extent was I learning and at what pace and how serious I was taking it? And it feels like so fast and so much has learned because I was already exercising that muscle a little bit, and now I'm just like muscle memory,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
But
100%.
yeah.
Well, if I can give you any piece of encouragement, is, and even to encourage myself, is that faith is a muscle,
Mhm.
and it, just like when you work out your physical body, it hurts.
Mhm.
It hurts when
Mhm.
you're, you people that are in the gym all the time, like, but like, I always, I was telling the story, like, a friend of mine had went to work out with, I went to work out with, and he did not do anything beginner level with me, and I think I thought I was dying the next day. I couldn't even
Mm.
move my arms,
Mm.
and but after that, pain had went away. Like, there was a noticeable difference.
Mm.
So I say all that to say, like, faith is a muscle, and it
Mhm.
hurts. Change
Mhm.
hurts. Like, your sacrifices, it hurt.
Mhm.
To say that I'm no longer going to adopt this identity. I can't remember the phrase you used. Stop agreeing with,
Yeah, come out of agreement.
come out of agreement with it.
Yeah.
And I love that. And but we have to consistently work out our faith. Otherwise, we're not growing.
Mhm.
So even though change is painful when it comes to following Jesus, but how much greater is the reward? I mean, even in your
Mm.
short time following Jesus, you've noticed a noticeable difference. How much happier are you now?
Dude.
Not to say that you weren't happy
Oh, I
back
wasn't. I was
then.
dying, bro.
Well, yeah,
I was
yeah.
dead.
I mean, yes, I know, I know.
Dude.
Trust me. And but, like, there were those times where it's like, oh, I'm happier. But but then again,
Yes,
you're
yes,
right,
yes,
because
yes.
then you think about it, I'm like, was I?
Dude,
Like,
no, you're
I was
not.
depressed. I was jealous. I was so
Yes,
angry.
yes,
Um,
yes. Like you
so
get it. Like
yeah,
you named every single thing that I felt on a daily basis. Like, bro, and that's a terrible life to live. That's sad. Like, and I see those people now and I'm like, why?
yeah,
Like why? And it's not even just in the gay community. It's
it's
everywhere,
everybody.
bro. It's in my family. Like I see these people and I'm like, you wonder why you're so angry? You wonder why you're so sad? You wonder why all this stuff? Like come to God. He's calling you.
Hmm.
He called me for years before I said yes, before I answered. Sorry to
Yeah.
cut you off, but
No,
continue.
you're good.
No, yeah,
It's totally
continue.
good. But yeah, just keep working it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people who have walked away from that lifestyle for years, and they still struggle with things. I mean, obviously, every day is a step better. And they'll say that, there's things that I used to struggle with, early in my faith that I don't struggle with anymore.
Mm.
And ultimately, like, we're born into sin. We live on earth.
Mhm.
There's gonna be sin and struggles as long as this flesh is in around us.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna be struggling with something.
Yeah.
And so until we graduate to heaven, when it's just like all of that is history. And so don't, I mean, and there's just always discouragement around. I mean, with your testimony, like, we live in a culture where it's just everywhere. I mean,
Dude.
we talked about Stranger Things just recently. The volume 2 of the
Yeah.
final season
Yeah.
was up, and we had this conversation about this episode where one of the main characters comes out of the closet.
Yeah.
It takes 15 minutes to do so, and I'm like, okay, was that
Necessary
necessary?
in the
And
story. And so I do want to say when you're talking about like how accept my family, dude, so accepting that like I said I was praised, you know? And I when I told my mom when I was like, "Mom, like I'm not going to live this life. I'm going to live my life for God. And if I'm going to say I believe in him, I'm going to believe in him in every aspect of my life. And I'm going to surrender to him. And I'm going to surrender at his feet. And I'm around so many people who have praised God, who have allowed me to do so in such a way with grace. She starts crying. Like every time I talk to my mom on the phone, she cries because she's so happy. She's so happy. And it's one of those things where it's
that Mexican mom intuition.
Yes, bro. She knows. And like even my extended family, I was telling my tia this, and she had called my mom because she was worried. She thought I was joining a cult or something. And I'm like, you know, and my mom had to tell her like, this is the happiest I've ever seen Amerie. And she defends me, but then behind closed doors, she calls me. And she's like, Mija, like Mija. She never called me Mija. She called me Amerie or baby. She's like, baby, like I'm worried, Mija, because you said Mexican mom. She's not like a Mexican mom. She's just, I don't know. But you know, she's just like, I am worried, like to an extent. I think everybody was so worried about me because it comes out of love, but at the same time, you literally transform. You transform. It's different. It's different. Like you could have known me a year ago, and that's not who I am anymore. It's just not. It's not. Like even 6 months ago to now, which Price pointed out that I really loved. Like I'm not the same. I'm not. Like it's different person.
That's amazing,
dude. Dude.
I hate cutting people off.
Don't cut me off. No, you're not cutting me off. You didn't.
No, I was gonna say, like, I'm just so, I feel so, I don't like to use the word lucky, but I'm so blessed, which I am. But I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm very lucky and blessed to have met you. I honestly feel like you and I were just smacked together. and hearing
we are, bro. The community, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
And hearing your story, and I'm like, okay, God, you know exactly what you're doing. And I think that God places people in your life at the right time.
Time.
Exactly.
At the perfect time, whether it to be for a reason or a season. Like I've met people who I'm like, dang, like I wish I would have met you 5 years ago because it would have been a different experience. But it's like, no, like God put you right there, right now to tell you that, like, you know.
Yeah. But I'm so happy to know you, and I'm so excited to continue to get to know you.
Yes, brother.
And from the east to the west.
From the east to the west, from the central to the north to the south.
And everything in between.
But all of SA. And further in Peru and UK and Philippines and South America, North America, wherever you are. The Canadian. I don't know if you count Canada.
I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. I know that's a hard story to share. And
that's the thing, is like, it is, but it isn't.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
You know, like I think some people have more struggle than others. I think when it comes to me, I think, like I said, I'm almost too truthful to a fault. Like sometimes I'll be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that, you know, like I don't know. But you know, I feel like when it comes, God doesn't give you a testimony to keep to yourself.
Oh, that's good. And this is the reason why I created the Life Stories podcast.
Yes, bro.
Because I think that people like you literally said earlier, I thought everybody had it together. And this is exposing the truth that every single body, even people that have been walking with Jesus for years, are still struggling with something. We all have a story. We all have a struggle. So, and I want to put that in the light and say, look, like, you're not alone. I've had people on here who I had somebody on here who kidnapped somebody else.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, no, you're going through something that someone else has gone through. So I love this platform, and however small or big it may ever be, it's just, I pray that your story lands in the ears of someone who needs to hear exactly what you're.
Even if I help one person, or bring, not even help, because it's not me, but if I bring one person to God's feet and to Jesus's feet, that's all that matters.
Yeah. One person. If the angels in heaven rejoice over one person.
Angels in heaven rejoice over one person.
Just one.
And just to be so grateful that we are surrounded by such a great witness, bro. Like, it's amazing.
I really appreciate it. I do ask my guests to close out in prayer.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. All right.
Bow your head, close your eyes. Unless you're driving, don't do that.
Unless you're driving, don't do that. Okay.
Your eyes open.
Yeah. Eyes closed, head bowed. Jesus, we come to you with open arms and open hearts, God. We know that everything you do is so intentional, God. I'm just so grateful that you give us a church to allow us to find community within you and just within each other, God. I just appreciate the conversations that you have allowed us to have, and just to be grateful for the testimonies, just to show how much you can do in our lives in such a little time or in a lot amount of time, God. We know that the new believer is going to come towards you because you never move. You are there. You are waiting. God, I'm just so grateful to have my friend David. I pray over his podcast. I pray that everybody who listens to it, they just have their eyes and ears open to you, God. We just are so thankful for the friendship. And we are so thankful that everybody who has sat on this couch has been able to share something that has glorified you in one way or another, God, because you are the amazing, you are the way, the truth, and the light, God. And we just appreciate everything you've done in our lives. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.